You can even see how the bees are probably going to be so full in there that they've actually started bearding on this hot day. Today I'm pumped and excited to share with you guys 7 mistakes that I've made over my beekeeping career. They're great tips that are going to keep you from making the same mistakes that I made. And you know, I'll give you a hint, I still make these mistakes sometime. And even today I'll show you making one of the mistakes and solving that mistake problem right now. Let's get to work. So the first thing we'll do today is smoke the entrance, open up the lid, and we'll see what kind of growth they're experiencing inside of this deep hive body. Got a lot of tips to share with you guys today, so stay with me. Let's start with the frame next to the wall. So tip number 1, don't let your hives get overly crowded. And if you do that, they could have problems like either getting too hot if you're out of swarm season, or if you're still in swarm season or the tail end of it, you could still have some swarms going on. So you want to get ahead of getting your bees overcrowded. Drawn it out very nicely and packed it full of nectar. And they're starting to work on the one next to the wall. Tip number 1 is to monitor the growth. Don't let them outgrow you and get ahead of what you can handle. And look at that, capped over honey at the top, almost capped over at the bottom. So a lot of nectar being brought in here. We'll put that in there to hold it. Tip number 2 is about spacing, and that's what I'm going to show you today, is we're going to space out. We're going to give this hive more space. Another pack frame of nectar, both sides. Oh, good, brood, okay. So look at that. Got brood and larvae. Everything looks good on the larvae. And we'll make a quick glance for a queen in case she might be walking around here. I don't see her. Okay, they are crowded. And as tip number 2 says, they need more space. All right, so there we go. Got them smoked. We can keep looking and see how they look as we go across here. Let's look at this next frame. Okay, not bad, decent brood. All right, tip number 3 is brood. Want to make sure you have plenty of eggs, larvae, and pupae. Oh, we have larvae and we have eggs. So the queen is in here. We don't have to find her, but it's always fun to find your queen. Today it's very hot outside. It's probably, I think I saw where we were supposed to have 110 degrees on the heat index, that's Fahrenheit. And I think I saw where we were supposed to be about 91, 92 degrees for a high today. But it's very humid. Humidity makes the heat index go up a lot. I am just pouring sweat off my head onto these bees. I mean, it is really, really hot out here. This is one of those days as a beekeeper you'll pass out if you're not careful. It's just too hot to work bees, actually. Capped over brood, honey at the top. 4th tip is resources. We're looking for plenty of capped over honey. Honey at the top, capped over. The next rainbow effect is nectar, and then sometimes pollen, but in this case nectar, and then the brood. Let's see the other side. Good brood pattern over here. So as you can see, this hive has outgrown me. They've grown faster than I should have kept up a little better. And they're out of space. So we need to give them more space. Now, one of the things I want to share with you guys is this. I don't know, I kind of wonder at times if I should have always only had medium boxes, medium size. You know, these are deep frames. If I would have had only medium boxes for both my supers and my deeps, I think it would give me more flexibility. But now I've got so many deep boxes, I could never make that transition. But I'm going to with this hive. I'm going to expand it. Ooh, that's a good brood pattern on that side. I'm going to expand this hive with only adding medium boxes above this deep. So I might have 1 or 2 supers that are going to be medium-sized supers. That's going to be this hive's brood area, I should say, rather than put another deep on. It's easy then to make a medium brood box into a medium super if you need to. You don't have to really worry about that. I have made deep boxes into honey supers, and my back is evidence that I've done that. It's a backbreaker. A lot of bee bread here, bee bread, so we're getting a little bit further away from the brood nest area, or else at least they're adding that in the brood nest area, the bee bread. You usually find it a little bit on the outside of the brood nest area, closer to the walls. Let's see what this one looks like. This looks like a good frame of brood with maybe the queen on it. Yep, some are emerging. Yep, looks good, doesn't it? The 5th tip we're looking for is swarm control. Swarm control is just making sure you don't see swarm cells on the bottom lower half of your frames. One of the things that I'm seeing a lot of capped over brood, and I've seen some larvae, but I don't see a ton of eggs and larvae, and that's because I think they're out of space. I really do. I just feel that they have filled up this box with no room to grow. Give them room to grow, because if you don't, the queen will slow down she'll not be able to lay eggs. The final tip is an overall glance of pests and diseases. How does a brood look? Any open cells like perforated brood, good brood pattern? Are the larvae pearly white, in-world jelly? Making sure you don't have European foul brood. And then we'll look for pests such as a small hive beetle population, or are we getting more small hive beetle? And what's our mite count? It might be a good time to do a mite count through an alcohol wash or powdered sugar shake about every 30 days in the hive. So the first thing we're going to do is to help them out, especially in the hot weather, is we're going to put a hive stand under them. They're sitting on a piece of cardboard that's just temporary state of mind, and we're going to lift it up and put a hive stand under there. So let's get that going. That will help them have a little more ventilation. Let's just move this box over here and kind of get an idea of just how crowded they are by the number of bees that are just actually hanging out on the bottom board. But it's not helping them much because look, the bottom board is right against the cardboard. So we're going to set this here just for a second, and then we're going to move in our hive stand. Some of you asked me about what hive stands that I use, and for the most part I use the Be Smart hive stand like this one, plastic. Now let's get our bottom board on there. They'll fly back in. We won't have to worry about killing bees as we bring our big deep box in for a landing. We're going to put our honey super, the medium box, on. And again, keep in mind, I'm actually designating this as part of their brood area. This is going to give them more room. It's going to allow them to have more space to grow. They can use it to raise brood up in here. And I may even overwinter with a deep and a super. I've done that a lot. It gives them a lot more room up on the top to come up here. 4 of the frames in the middle are from the red experiment that I did, and they're wet supers, so they'll get right on that. You can kind of see how they're getting acclimated. They'll have to take a new orientation flight, but they'll figure it out. Oh gosh, there's no way I can describe how hot I am. I literally feel physically ill on how hot it is under this bee suit. So it's time to quit. I'm glad I worked hard to get this video made, but man, it is sickening to be out in the bee yard this hot. I've got a great video for you guys to follow up on this one. It's more tips on what you need to know in the month of July. Take a look at the video. I'll meet you guys over there after I get cooled off.